GX owners, this is GX Bob coming to you guys again to do a DIY specifically for the Lexus GX460 Radiator, the OEM Radiator. If you guys come ahead and follow me, you're going to notice this design of plastic stitching to an aluminum core. Is this Lexus's way of cutting costs, cutting weight, and at the end sacrificing quality? We'll never know. We'll never know what the designers were thinking. They were tasked to probably try to find a way to make the vehicle more lightweight. Who knows? But at the end, we don't know how to test something at a 10-year mark. And I say 10-year mark is because 10 years is the magic number when these radiators fail. They end up leaking at the seams right here where the plastic meets the aluminum. You're going to find Lexus owners getting this leak at 12 years. You're going to find some getting it at 8 years. But 10 years is always the average that I've been finding online when these things fail. So what do we do, guys? So you guys got 4 options, okay? 4 options. They're very simple and straightforward options. The first option is, you guys already know what the magic number is. You guys can go ahead and replace your radiator before that magic number happens. So why would I want to replace something that's not even broken yet? You guys, imagine this. You guys are on a 4-hour road trip somewhere and your radiator leaks. We already know that 10 years is the magic number. You could either do it now and change your alternator, change your serpentine belt, change your thermostat, change a whole bunch of stuff while this radiator is out and replace it with a brand new radiator. You're gonna have a good 10 years to go if you decide to buy another Lexus OEM radiator. Which leads me to option number 2. Replace it with another Lexus OEM radiator knowing that it's gonna fail in another 10 years. And by that time, you're gonna be passing your truck on to your daughter. So that's really up to you. Option number 3 are for you cheap asses that go on Amazon looking at $80 radiators that look exactly like this, and it's an exact replica, and it's going to fit exactly into your car. And what's going to happen is it's going to fail exactly after that 30-day mark when your warranty expires. You can no longer return it to Amazon. That's Murphy's Law, man. Don't go cheap on your very expensive truck. Which also leads me to option number 4. You can go out, spend a little bit of money, sleep better at night, and buy an all aluminum 100% core race-inspired radiator made by Mishimoto. I've been following Mishimoto for some time. They make some of the coolest products for your cooling system: radiator, oil catch cans, intercoolers, trans coolers, and it's all been proven on the racetrack, guys. And some of you guys probably out in the Midwest are probably thinking, Mishimoto, why would I want to replace my Japanese OEM radiator with a Chinese product? You guys, if you guys can't tell the difference between Japanese and Chinese and Vietnamese and Koreans, then you really don't deserve to have a badass product like Mishimoto. You need to go like buy a Nissan or something. Come on, I'm excited to do a box opening in front of you guys. Let's do this. All right. Holy smokes. All right. Holy smokes, look at this bad boy. Holy smokes. Oh my God, this looks beautiful. Look at this. Let's take it out of its plastic here. Wow. This is a thing of beauty, folks. Look at this. I think this is gonna make my engine compartment look badass. You betcha. Look at this, wow. Holy smokes, look at this, guys. Sweet. Oh my God, guys. This is pretty badass. The Mishimoto all aluminum core radiator, race inspired. This has all been put on all of their sponsored vehicles on the racetrack, okay? If you guys haven't noticed, these are incorporated with strutted tubes throughout the core of the radiator. And there's a reason why for that, because your car is subjected to thousands and thousands of body flexes while you're driving up and down your curb, especially if you're off-roading and overlanding. You're subjecting your vehicle to a lot of abuse. So what Mishimoto did was they strengthened their core throughout here, putting strutted tubes. The strutted tubes is a good example would be putting columns in your house. Architects and designers are only going to put columns where there's going to be load bearing, okay? That's Lexus. Lexus put the load bearing at the outer edge, and it's totally noticeable. If you take a look at the fins, that is where it's the thickest. And then the whole entire body of a Lexus radiator is just thin and flat. There is no structure support. If you go look at a Mishimoto, you're going to find strutted tubes throughout the radiator core, and that is to help protect it from stress cracks and body tweaking. That's why you're never going to get a leakage through the radiator itself. You're going to get this leak from a Lexus radiator. In 10 years, you're going to get this never. And Mishimoto is going to back up that claim by giving you a lifetime warranty, not 10 years, lifetime warranty. So when you decide to pass your truck on to your daughter, you can feel safe that she can take her long road trip and that radiator is never going to fail on her. Let's go ahead and do the install, guys. I'm excited. First things first, you're going to want to open up your radiator cap here, let some air into the system, see how it's topped up. Now we're going to go to your driver's wheel well here, and you're going to place a bucket under here, and we're going to loosen up this yellow peacock right here by turning counterclockwise. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and release all my coolant out of my radiator. If you guys plan on reusing your radiator coolant, then go ahead and use a clean bucket, and then you can go ahead and reuse it. I'm just going to go ahead and dump this because I bought brand new radiator coolant. I don't need to save my old radiator coolant because I'm not a cheap ass. For those of you that are trying to save money by saving your coolant and then reusing it, that's the reason why you guys don't have girlfriends. Bunch of cheap asses. Come on, man. Just dump your coolant and just go buy a couple of new jugs. There you go. Just let it sit right there.
A few minutes later.
So from our radiator, we were able to get at least 1 gallon of coolant. But we're not done yet, folks. Now grab our 10 millimeter and we're going to remove our expansion tank right here. 10 millimeter right here. There's a 10 millimeter right below it, and there is a 10 millimeter right here. Should be 3. Right at your radiator cap, you're going to want to disconnect the expansion tank tubing, remove it off its clip off the top of the radiator, and we're going to remove this reservoir tank. We're going to take whatever's left in our reservoir tank right here, and we're going to dump it into our coolant bucket to get the total coolant level that we just removed. You take a look, we have about 1.5 gallons. Now we're going to remove these 2 shrouds, okay? They got little push tabs right here that you're going to have to remove. You guys, take a picture of this because you guys are going to forget how to put this shroud back, I promise you. Okay? Right now it's easy to come out because all you're doing is pulling it out. You don't care how it goes back in. Look at that. You're doing whatever it takes to pull these things out. Oh my God. Now we're going to remove our upper radiator hose. We're going to go ahead and declamp this right here. Get a good set of pliers. Just wiggle it out a little way. There you go. At the other end of the upper radiator hose, we're going to go ahead and declamp this also. And we are going to remove this upper radiator hose. I'm going to keep this covered so no debris falls in there by just turning this radiator hose up in an upward position, but it's still out of the way for our radiator removal. Okay, now if you take a look down, here's your battery and here's your fan shroud. If you take a look straight down, you're going to find this clamp right here. You're going to have to declamp that. There you go. Now we're going to take off our fan shroud. Right below here, we are going to see a 10 millimeter that we're going to need to remove. On the passenger side fan shroud, you're going to have a 10 millimeter right here. Now comes the fun part. We are going to have to remove our fan clutch. So if you look in the center right there, you see that orange hub? There's 4 nuts on there that we're going to have to remove. It's 12 millimeter and a pry bar. Stick it at the 9 o'clock nut, and I'm going to be removing the 3 o'clock nut. Turning it counterclockwise. After I loosen it up, do not remove it. What we're going to do is we are going to shift our nuts to a different position. And we're going to start all over again. Loosen this. Now we're going to shift it to a different position again. Now we got one more. Now they are all loose. I can go ahead and loosen it up by hand. It's a 12 millimeter nut. Now you can go ahead and grab the fan blades and just wiggle this until it comes loose. Once it comes loose, do not remove it yet. Leave it hanging on the studs. So right now, what you're going to do is you're going to take your fan and you're going to take the shroud and you're going to pull it up at the same time. There is nothing holding this fan shroud at the bottom. All it is just sitting inside of a little sill. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the fan shroud and pop it up out of its little place, and then you're going to take your fan and you're going to remove it off the stud and you're going to pick it up along with your fan shroud and you're just going to weasel this thing out. There you go. It's going to come out, the driver's side should come out going up first at a slant. So much easier, guys. But at this point right here, you have enough room to take your fan out. So go ahead and remove the fan. And now we could take our fan shroud out by itself. There you go. Now we're going to come to the passenger side over here. We are going to remove this lower radiator hose. Grab my trusty pair of pliers here. Clamp down on this. And just wiggle it until the clamp falls beneath your thermostat housing here, so it's not grabbing anything anymore. I really hate these clamps. That's why I bought aftermarket clamp, guys. These things keep slipping on you. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wiggle this hose off. When I wiggle this hose off, I'm not going to take the bottom clamp off because it's almost impossible to do unless you guys are able to do it. I'm just going to take this and put it below this line right here. So when I remove the radiator, it can come out a lot easier. There you go. Now if you go all the way down the driver's side of your radiator, you're going to come across this hose right here. You're going to have to remove this clamp. This clamp right here is something that I purchased aftermarket. You will probably have a Lexus clamp, which you might need a pliers for. So do what you got to do to remove that clamp, loosen that clamp so you could remove this bottom hose. There you go. I've got my trusty hose clamp puller here. All I'm going to do is just squeeze on it and just wiggle it around. Get it loose. Okay, it came out. Let's go ahead and start on our passenger side. You're going to need a 12 millimeter socket, maybe a 6-inch extension. Okay, and you got a 12 millimeter bolt right there that's holding the upper passenger side of your radiator. We're going to go ahead and loosen that up. It's going to look like this. It's that long. So we just finished taking out our 12 millimeter top radiator bolt on the passenger side. Now we're going to go directly down and you're going to see an oval opening inside this beam right here. Okay, it's about midway where your radiator is. You're going to get the same 12 millimeter deep socket, your 6-inch extension. You're going to reach in there. You're going to see a 12 millimeter bolt. You can't really see it with the camera angle because it's pretty pitch black in there. And you're going to be removing it. Turn it counterclockwise. Once it gets loose, you can go ahead and turn it out by hand. Once it comes out all the way, the only way you're going to take it out is with your fingers. There you go. Now we're going to go ahead and bring our camera over to the driver's side, and you're going to see a 12 millimeter bolt at the top of the radiator driver's side. 12 millimeter, we are going to remove it. Now we're going to bring the camera out. If you take a look directly down there, you're going to see an oval space right here. Same thing. You got a 12 millimeter in there. Remove it by hand. All right, it's coming out, guys. And here it is. Now that you got all 4 bolts out, you just want to grab your radiator and just start lifting it up. There you go. Just try to jimmy it loose. There you go. We are going to install our Mishimoto radiator, but we are not going to be reusing old parts. We're going to get brand new Lexus OEM parts to go along with our Mishimoto radiator. We have our upper radiator hose right here, 38101 part number. We have our lower radiator hose right here, 38151. Follow me down here. These are the spacers that are going to go into the 4 holes of our radiator. Okay, these are all Lexus OEM. We are going to get 2 of the 50090. We are going to get 2 of the 38010s. And we are going to buy 4 of the 50010s. Let's go ahead and grab one of the 50010. It's a big bushing and it has a nut behind it. The nut is going to be going towards your engine compartment. This bushing right here is going to go towards the front of the vehicle. The other end of this is going to be the 38010. Okay, we are going to do the bottom of the radiator first. 38010. It has a spacer. Okay, let's go ahead and put this on our radiator, just the way it goes, just like this. Remember the nut towards the engine, the spacer part, and this right here, the one with the lip, is going to go towards the front of the vehicle. Let's go ahead and put this on. Perfect fit. Look at that, guys. Now we're going to go ahead and do the driver bottom. We're going to take another 50010. Remember, all the 50010s have a nut in back of them. We are going to take another 38010. We're going to put them together. We're going to take it to our radiator. Remember, the nut goes in the back towards the engine. Just squeeze it through and take this other end right here, put it towards the front, squeeze it in. Beautiful. Next, we are going to take another 50010. There's the nut. We are going to take what's left, which is the 50090. And it's just a flat spacer, okay? And we are going to put this together and bring it to our radiator. Let's go ahead and put the nut side in the back. And in the front, I don't know if you noticed this, but in the front, you have this little hook. The hook is gonna face 12 o'clock, okay? Because this is what's gonna hang on to your structure frame at the front of your vehicle. Lastly, we're gonna do our very last one, 50010. We're gonna take a 50090. We're also gonna take it to the car. We're going to take the nut, put it in the back. We're going to take the hook, face it 12 o'clock, squeeze it in there. Beautiful. Folks, before I even install this into the vehicle, I wanted to show you guys this while the radiator is accessible from the inside, okay? So you're gonna have these two hooks right here where your fan shroud is going to lock into, okay? It's gonna look like this. The reason why I'm telling you guys stuff like this is because I know you're going to struggle just a little bit trying to find your way. It's going to be very dark in there, and you're going to be putting an oversized shroud in a very tight compartment, so you're going to need to feel your way around. And just because you got this down here doesn't mean that it's all in, okay? Sometimes you miss the lip and it's going to be hanging on the outside, and that's not good, because there's going to be one day where it's just going to come a little too loose, and then your fan's going to start hitting this, and that's going to spell trouble, okay? Always make sure that these two clips down here on the fan shroud is locked into place. Double check, triple check. You don't want anything to happen to your truck because you missed a step, okay? Something as simple like that and something as cheap as plastic like this can actually do a lot of damage once a fan starts hitting it, okay? So we're gonna install it without the fan shroud. I'm going to nicely slide this straight down. Be careful on the way down. You can be bumping a whole bunch of different types of hoses down here. Okay guys, remember that hook, that very top spacer hook that I was telling you to point at 12 o'clock? That is going to slide into this rectangular slot inside of our structure. That you're going to have to do to both sides, the driver and the passenger side, okay? So when you slide your radiator down, Both sides got to go in at the same time and lock into that slot. While you're doing that, go to the other side, lock it into the slot. Once you lock both sides into their rectangular slot, you're going to shake it around to make sure that it's stuck in there pretty good. You're going to look down here inside the engine compartment right behind your radiator to see if you pinched any hoses, you pinched any wires. Now we're going to hit all 4 bolts at 13 inch-pounds. Now if you follow the radiator cap and you go all the way down, straight down, you're going to see we have 2 transmission oil cooler inlets and outlets that we're going to attach to hoses. Okay, so we have this hose right here that's going to attach to this fitting, and we got this hose right here that we're going to route all the way down, and it's going to attach to that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fit one of my universal clamps on there. See how easy it is? I don't even have to use a pair of pliers to move this around. I can move it anywhere I want. Okay, and it stays put. Okay, it's not gonna like fall off. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this hose down there. So here is the hose. It's gonna slide down here. I'm gonna fit over here. Okay, finally got it on there. Good. We'll check for leaks a little later on. And now for this upper one, for our transmission cooler, we can go ahead and use our OEM clamp because it's accessible up here. It's not hard to reach. I'm going to squeeze it all the way up, use a pair of pliers. Whoever invented this clamp needs to be shot. That's all I can say. There you go. So this is the clamp kit I purchased at Harbor Freight, fairly cheap. They come in different sizes. I'm just going to go ahead and do a fitting right now. I'm going to take one of my hoses and I'm just going to start doing a fitting. Like this one, this looks okay, right? This looks okay, and the great part about this is you can rotate this any way you want, and you're not subject to using a pair of pliers all the way down there, which is impossible. Okay, you could use a socket, you could use a flathead screwdriver, and you can angle this any way you want to make it accessible. Perfect solution for an otherwise difficult job. Okay, these clamps are a son of a bitch. The OEM ones are a son of a bitch. These are okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab a couple of these. I think we're gonna need like 4 of them, right? Okay, yeah, we need about 4 of them. There, we're gonna need 4 of them. We're gonna set these aside and we're gonna go ahead and rock and roll. For those of you guys that don't wanna buy a whole kit and just wanna buy the clamp individually, let me measure this for you real quick. So it comes out to about 1 inch and 850 thousandths. So you're between 1 3/4 and 2 inches, okay? Now if you guys follow me all the way down there on the passenger side of the radiator, you're going to notice I placed a red tape on where the fitting we're going to be attaching our lower radiator hose to. Okay, sorry for the camera angle, guys. It's a really tight space in there, but here's my hose, and I'm going to guide it down here, and I'm going to put it right there, and I'm going to shape it and angle it where it's going to attach to my thermostat housing here, and from there I can take a look at my clamp and see what type of orientation that I would prefer. Hey guys, I did find my perfect angle. I had to readjust it, remove it, and flip it around and have that nut pointing straight upward. Let me go in for you guys a little bit here. There you guys see that? Now we're going to attach the upper portion of the lower radiator hose, and we're going to attach it to this housing right here. We're going to put our clamp on here, having that clamp nut facing in the direction that's going to be easily accessible to us. I have it this way, facing towards the passenger headlight. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this housing right here has a little tiny tab sticking up. You want to push your rubber hose all the way up to that tab where it's going to stop, okay? Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and bring our fan shroud down here. It's going to require some tweaking because hoses are in the way. So I always put the passenger side corner in first at an angle. It just fits in better that way. And look for the tranny cooler lines on this side. And you're just going to keep squeezing it down. Look at the hoses, try to squeeze it past the hoses like what I'm doing. And on this side, you're going to do the same thing, squeeze it past the hoses. It almost seems like you're going to have to take your fan shroud and just push it inward like this. And squeeze it together. Remember the tabs. Okay. You're going to have to manipulate this. There you go. Remember, this is plastic, guys. You can contort it. Okay. Do not put it inside of its tabs just yet, because we need to bring our fan shroud in here. I want you guys to just bring it not all the way down, but bring 1/3 of it up just a little in order to fit your fan shroud in here, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. See that huge opening right here, guys? We're gonna take our fan and we're gonna slide it through this large opening, and we are going to let it slide inside those studs right down there. There you go. And perfect. Slid right in. At this point, go ahead and put your nut on there. Put at least one nut on there so it doesn't fall off. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and start putting my nuts on here. In other words, I'm going to be teabagging this fan hub here. I got one nut on there. I'm not afraid of it falling off anymore. Now if you take a look at the foam piece that came inside the Mishimoto box, you're going to find out that they attach 3 10mm bolts in here that we're going to be using to attach our radiator. Let's go and open this up. We got 3 10mm here. You're going to take one of the 10mm bolts that Mishimoto gave you in the package, and you're going to line up this fan shroud right here to the driver's side, the upper fan shroud bolt right here, 10mm. Just go ahead and screw it in by hand. Then take a torque wrench, set it to 44 inch-pounds, and go ahead and torque this one in. Same thing with the passenger side. Go ahead and screw this one in. 44 inch-pounds. We're going to take our expansion tank, our coolant reservoir tank right here, and we're going to attach this end of the rubber hose to there, and then we're just going to attach all the rubber hose along the alignment of this shroud. And now we are ready to install our coolant reservoir. Just keep in mind, guys, that our OEM coolant reservoir comes with 3 bolts. We are only going to use 2 of them, okay, because these 2 are actually going to go into our Lexus OEM fan shroud. They have a different length. The 3rd one that Mishimoto provided us out of our little packet is going to go into their radiator, which is going to be the bolt down there. Okay, the top 2 into the fan shroud is Lexus OEM. Mishimoto, which is a shorter bolt, is going to go onto the 3rd one, which is down there. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Probably start doing the easiest one first. Do not tighten all the way because you need the slack in order to locate the hole down there. The hole down there doesn't have slack, it's a direct hole fitted, okay? But the Lexus OEM one gives you this screw tab in the back right here, a locking tab that moves around, so it's adjustable. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it movable right there. Now let's go ahead and do the bottom one. 10 millimeter, 44 inch-pounds for the bottom one. 44 inch-pounds for the top passenger side. And same thing with this one, 44 inch-pounds, guys. Now we're gonna be installing our upper radiator hose, okay? Yellow stripe goes towards the engine, orange stripe goes towards the radiator. I'm going to take one of my aftermarket clamps, I'm going to face it in a position that makes sense to me, depending on where I want to put my screwdriver or extension socket. I'll place it that way. There you go. I am going to go ahead and pre-tighten this so I don't have to do all the work while it's in there at a weird angle. That should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and slip this on. Okay. Now we're going to do the radiator portion of it. If you guys find this rubber is really hard to slide onto here and it just won't go in, you could get some of your brand new coolant and just lubricate the inside here. And just go ahead and slide it right on. It came on pretty easy. See that? Snug it up. There we go, we're good. Okay folks, with our Mishimoto radiator, we are going to get an aluminum petcock. We're not going to use that plastic cheap crap that Lexus gave us. Okay, it's going to be this right here. Okay, let's go ahead and put it back. You want to tighten this and snug it up. Do not strip it. After I snug it up, I do another 1/8 of a turn until it's tight. Okay, our next job is to go ahead and fill up the radiator with brand new coolant. We're going to use our Radiator Buddy. I'm going to give you a link below the video on where to purchase this. And it's pretty cheap, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and dump all the adapters. This is good for Hondas, BMWs, European cars, Japanese cars. And the adapter that we are going to be using for our radiator is the green locking cap and the green tubing, okay? If you guys haven't already done so, take your funnel. If you guys did a previous DIY, go ahead and clean it out really good. You don't want to contaminate this. Okay, let's take this to our vehicle. Next, we're going to take our Radiator Buddy. We're going to take our green tubing right here with the black rubber washer facing downward. We're going to take the locking cap and lock this into place. Make sure it's tight and secure. We don't want any leaks while doing the job. Let's go ahead and put our Radiator Buddy up here, the funnel, and let's go ahead and start filling it up with coolant. Using brand new Lexus pre-diluted super long life. Okay, I want you guys to go ahead and just fill up about half a jug. Use your light. Go through all your hoses to see if you got a leak somewhere. It's better finding it now instead of trying to waste a whole entire jug. Look for a leak. When it goes down, continue to pour in more coolant. That's one jug. Continue to pour some more. What we're doing is we're trying to prevent air from getting into our system. It's going to make our bleeding, the system, a lot more quicker, more efficient if we continue to add coolant instead of stop and let air get trapped in there and then add coolant again. You don't want that gap in between of adding coolant. It's okay if you're overfilling, don't worry about it. We have a plunger that's going to plunge in there. If we have leftover, we're going to pour this back into our bottle and use this for our next coolant flush. Okay, if you notice it's stopping, what you're going to do is you can place the cap on here. Prevent debris from getting inside. Next, we're going to grab another funnel. We're going to fill up our reservoir tank here. And we're going to fill it up to about the 75%, 50 to 75% line, because when we warm up our engine to do the burping of the rest of the coolant, when the coolant gets hot, it's going to rise, okay? The level is going to rise on you. So you don't want to keep it at the full. You're going to keep it at the 75% mark. Okay, that should be good. Let's go ahead and close up our cap here. You're going to go inside your vehicle and you're going to turn on the heater on full blast, okay? Turn off the AC, okay? Keep it on the hottest setting, all the way on high, both sides. Oh, I love physical knobs. Beautiful. I also have these knobs to turn on. Okay. And leave it running. We want our thermostat to open so our coolant cycles the entire system, okay? So we're trying to trap all the air and get it out of the system. Okay, let's run the engine for a good 10 minutes and we're gonna go ahead and keep an eye on our coolant. Guys, notice bubbles are coming to the top. See that? System is burping itself. You can help it along by squeezing the upper radiator hose, making the coolant push all the air out, squeeze it a few times, and just keep an eye on the surface of this coolant. We want all the air to disappear.
A few moments later.
So it's been over 10 minutes and there are no more bubbles. I've been watching this for a little bit and it looks like we're good. Now that we're done, we're gonna go grab the plunger and stick it in the middle, make sure it's tight. Okay, you're gonna remove your funnel and take it to your empty bottle of coolant. Okay, while holding the funnel, you're gonna remove the plunger and let it all go back into the bottle. Good to go. Let's close this up. This is brand new coolant, folks. We are going to save this to do our next drain and fill or top off our reservoir with, okay? Next, grab a towel or a rag. You're going to get some spillage here. And remember, it's hot right now, okay? So be careful. You're going to remove this adapter. Take it off. There you go. Folks, see how it's topped off right there? Keep an eye on that level, okay? And I'm going to tell you why at the end. Grab our spring-loaded Mishimoto radiator cap and lock it into place. Remember, it's spring-loaded, guys, so you're going to have to push down and lock it into place, okay? There you go. Wow, that's pretty tight. That's what he said. Okay, there you guys have it, the Racing Mishimoto radiator installation video. If I had to share some DIY lessons learned with you, one of them being replace all the OEM clamps with aftermarket universal clamps. You are going to thank me for it. I struggle so much with those Lexus clamps because they are almost impossible to remove. They're impossible to shift around in the way that you want it, and they are impossible to install, especially with all those other components and hoses in your way. You're not gonna find a pair of pliers small enough to fit in those type of spaces. Okay, it was just impossible. I have special tools. I have angled hose pullers, I have angled pliers, I have small pliers, I have big pliers, and I just kept struggling. Replace your hose clamps with aftermarket, okay? And I got a pretty good kit at Harbor Freight. I will send you the video, no, not the video. I'm gonna send you the links to everything that I purchased below this video, just so it's gonna make you guys more prepared on what to have on you when you start doing your installation. The last thing you guys want is to take everything apart and find out that you need something and you have to run to the automotive store to go grab, and that's just a hassle. And I've been through that one so many different times. Okay, so prepare yourself with everything that you guys need. What else did I learn from this? The fan shroud. The fan shroud doesn't go straight in, it only goes in at an angle. It makes your life so much easier. Always have some type of portable light inside that cavity, because you're gonna be bumping and hitting structures and hoses all day long. And you're gonna find out and wonder why your shroud just won't go in straight down. It doesn't go in straight down. You're gonna have to manipulate it a little to get it around certain hoses, okay? So that's why I said the easiest way to get it out is to, or install it, is to use the passenger side corner first going in and then move it down. And also another thing, you do not, and I've seen this on other YouTube videos, is they remove the fan and the shroud at the same time. You don't have to work harder, guys, you can work smarter. That fan shroud, if you bring it up maybe halfway to the halfway mark, or a little bit, maybe a quarter of the way, that fan shroud actually does come out, okay? You don't have to take out both at the same time, because remember, the fan shroud requires two hands for you to manipulate it, just to get it in and out. Why don't you guys do yourself a favor? Get that fan out by itself first, and use your other hand to help this hand pull that fan shroud out, okay? The way that I originally did it at first, trying to pull both out, I've been doing a lot of bumping and bumping all over the place, and I don't know what I tore up in there. Don't hurt your engine any more than it needs to be, okay? What else? Your oil cooler lines, those two little hoses on the driver's side that you're gonna have to disconnect from the OEM, okay? Remember, there is still transmission oil in it. Small droplets of it, they're going to trickle out. Just remember that, to keep the hoses in an upright position when you do remove it. What else can I tell you? Oh, here's another thing. Go drive your vehicle. Make sure your engine's hot. Go drive your vehicle and do it for a whole entire day, okay? Come back to your engine compartment and check your reservoir tank. Remember, hot coolant is going to expand and it's going to raise in level, okay? You want your coolant level to be at full, okay? So the best thing is, don't fill up your reservoir coolant when it's cold to the full line, because it's going to go past the full line when your engine gets hot. Keep it at 75%. That's perfect for me, because by the time my engine runs hot, it's going to go up to the full line. It goes cold, it's going to drop back down. So it's not going to trick your mind into thinking that you are leaking somewhere, okay? Always check your radiator cap. Your radiator cap right there. Remove your radiator cap and check your top off line. That's a good indicator that you might have a leak somewhere, instead of just looking at the reservoir tank, okay? I always like to look under my radiator cap, check the coolant level, make sure it's topped off. That means my entire system is pretty sealed and nothing's leaking. If you continue to see your coolant in your reservoir tank keep going lower, go ahead and fill it back up. When it's cold, fill it back up, okay? And continue to watch it. Watch the level in your radiator cap and watch the level in your coolant, okay? They should stabilize at one point, and it doesn't take that long to do, okay? But if you keep on topping it off and it goes down, but it doesn't go back up when your engine is hot, it just stays here and then goes down, and you have to keep on topping it off, that is when you will realize that you do have a leak somewhere, and that's probably the time that you're going to have to use a boroscope or bring your car to the dealership to have them check it out, especially if it's still under warranty. You want to take care of it as soon as possible. I had a commenter telling me that his coolant was dropping and he only had 32,000 miles on his vehicle, and it was a 2022. I cannot fathom a 2022 having coolant leaks already, valley plate leaks already, timing chain leaks already. I can't fathom that. That's way too soon. Okay, so and I did tell him what I just told you guys. When your engine's cold, go ahead and fill it up where it needs to be. Fill it up at 75%, run it hot, and keep track of that coolant level to make sure that it is consistent, and it wasn't just because the previous owner forgot to top it off somewhere along the line, and he just bought it. He bought the truck when the coolant level was already low. So that doesn't tell you that the engine's leaking. All that did was just tell me that just some work was done in the past and they forgot to top it off. That's all it was. Okay, keep your eye on that. Another thing is, go back to every single bolt and screw that you have touched in this DIY. With your hands, go touch them to make sure that everything is tight. And I think that's about it. Where did I get all my torque values? You guys, check this out. I did my printout from a Lexus manual that I got online, super cheap. It's like 35 bucks, 30 bucks or something, on a website called emanuals.com. I'm gonna go ahead and send you the link at the bottom of my video. I printed this out because it tells me exactly which bolts to take out for the fan shroud. It tells me which bolts to take out for the fan itself, and it tells me the torque value itself. So easy, with arrows pointing to exactly where I need to remove things. Here's the reservoir tank. It tells me 44-inch pounds, okay? All right, here you go, clamp and clamping positions, and it tells me here, what is this? This is remove the radiator shroud. This is the coolant lines right here. And this is the lower radiator hose, right? It's telling me where the clamp should be, and I don't agree with that. That kind of sucks right there, because you have other coolant lines in the way. Right here, you have your radiator support, and this is how I found out that I needed the new spacers and new bushings that I had to order from Bell Lexus. Okay, I will also send you those links at the bottom of the video. Okay, and it helped me out truly a lot, because without this, I wouldn't be able to give you guys the proper torque values for each individual item. Okay, I also have one for my alternator that I am also doing. Okay, it gives me all the torque values and all the components that needs to be removed. And this is if you want to rebuild your own alternator, in which you can do. You can save your money, okay, by buying a brand new brush for your alternator. It's about $22 from the Lexus dealer, and just keep everything else the same, and your alternator will be running again. Okay, so, and I think that's what they do when they refurbish a alternator. They change out some of the internal components, and they profit from it, because most of it is labor. Okay, it's going to give you some tribal knowledge. They're going to give you certain bolts that you need to remove in order to make your job a lot easier. In order to move this pulley forward, you have to remove a certain bolt, and I didn't know that until I looked at this manual. I'm like, holy crap, no wonder I couldn't move this forward. There was this bolt in the way, and I couldn't see it with the naked eye, because the cavity inside your wheel well is so dark, so tight, and the angles of view is very limited. Okay, all right, so that's enough. I am not going to bother you guys with a whole bunch of bullshit that has nothing to do with the radiator. But I do want to mention to you guys of all the special tools, all the special documents that are required to do your DIY. So sometimes you guys depend on a YouTuber to walk you step by step, and that's great. They also tell you the torque value, and that is very helpful. But just remember, like what we do in the aerospace industry, we trust, but we also verify. So even though somebody tells you 15 foot-pounds, go do your homework. Is it really 15 foot-pounds, or did he take the opinion of somebody else on the website somewhere? Okay, so take it from me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's go do some driving around with our new racing radiator. Peace.